The following is a fourth-hand production.
Welcome, Beyonders.
How did we get to this weird place? Who are these two crazy guys, and what is going on?
Beyond Terrestrial, or BT for short, is a podcast dedicated to the strange, the macabre, the conspiratorial, and all things supernatural. Hosted by Dan Martson and Lee Arriet, two guys who discovered late-night radio shows like Coast to Coast while working the night shift, and stumbled into a world of fantastic tales and local legends.
We share these stories with our dedicated fans we lovingly call Beyonders every other Tuesday. Join me and Lee as we take a mysterious journey into obscure local tales and spin up some hot takes on the supernatural stories we all know and love.
2 words: interdimensional Bigfoot.
Oh yeah.
What? No!
You suck!
Oh my
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another especially exciting episode of What the Suck. I am Chris.
And I'm James. What's up, bitches?
Hey guys, alright, so today's episode is going to be about the 1966 quote-unquote classic Manos, the Hands of Fate. And this one, it's considered one of the worst of the worst. It's up there with like Troll and the last one we just did, Night of the Ghouls.
Yeah.
But it holds a little bit of a special place in my heart because it was produced and filmed in and around El Paso. So
Sweet.
It was produced by a fertilizer salesman from El Paso, and as well as starring in it and other actors from the El Paso area. And it was filmed in and around West Texas, New Mexico, and El Paso. So when I watched it originally years ago, I recognized a ton of places because El Paso's not that big, so you kind of get a lay of the land. Especially after living there most of my life, I knew what was what. So it's pretty cool. Doesn't make it a good movie though. It's still a shitty movie. It still fucking sucks balls. But it, it's a little bit of a special place in my heart. So it's 1966, independent horror film, which always means it's a classic.
Of course.
Manos, the Hands of Fate, directed by, produced by, written by, and starring Harold P. Warren.
Holy hell.
Another quadruple threat there, James.
Yipe.
Also starring Tom Naiman, John Reynolds, and Diane Mari. Music by Russ Huddleston and Robert Smith Jr., edited by James Sullivan. Production company Sun City Films, El Paso local. Distributed by Emerson Film Enterprises. Release date November 15th, 1966. And a smooth running time of 17 minutes with a whopping budget of $19,000.
Holy hell.
$19,000.
I seen movies from the 50s that had bigger budget than that.
Now, this is a weird thing because this movie has gained such notoriety for being one of the worst, and because of it had a MST3K run.
Oh yeah,
they did an episode of it, which is also pretty famous. That they made quote unquote official sequels.
Oh no!
So in 2010, writer director Robert Munch Sr. I know
Rupert Talbot Munch.
Oh yeah, thank you, Rupert Talbot Munch Sr. He began work.
Does it really matter what his fucking name is?
No, it really doesn't. On the sequel, Manos, The Search for Valley Lodge, reprised some reprising from some of the original actors and actresses and such and forth, as well as former WWE diva and Playboy centerfold Maria Kanellis and UFC fighter Ryan Big Deal Jimmo apparently were in it. Now, the film was actually scrapped in 2014, but in 2013, a project to produce a prequel called The Rise of Torgo was undertaken, and it actually was finished and released on Amazon Prime in 2018. So that might be a future episode, James.
It just depends on how this one goes. in
2016, a Kickstarter campaign began to make a sequel called Manos Returns. The goal was $24,000, which was more than the original movie.
Yeah.
And it reached it. 24 days or so after it started, it reached its goal of $24,000. So it's almost $1,000 a day.
Shit.
Now, it was completed, however, 3 days before the planned release, and with the film in post-production, the release was delayed owing to the death of Tom Naiman, the original star, at age 80. It was eventually released in May 2018.
Damn.
So there's a prequel and a sequel out to this officially in canon. So we may have to check those out later if you survive this one, that is, I should say.
Yeah, we've survived worse. I have a feeling this won't be as bad as some, but who knows?
So, Manos, the Hands of Fate. Everything that can go wrong does on a young couple's terrifying vacation. Lost and unable to find an inn, they stop at the door of a mysterious house.
You never go to the mysterious house. What the fuck is wrong with you people?
Especially in the middle of the desert.
Idiots.
Because it's usually a meth house or a crack house.
Yeah.
They are told by this disfigured Togar that... Wait, Togar? That's not right. I thought it was Torgo. That's not right. Hang on a sec. That's not right. Let me verify this real quick. That's some bullshit. Yeah, Torgo. This description got it wrong. It's not Togar. It's Torgo.
Torgo.
Anyway, that the master does not like visitors, but with no other shelter in sight, they decide to spend the night. Their presence ignites the fury of a devil cult that preys upon their innocence. The family is forced to suffer interminable psychotic rituals. Unrest within the cult provides a chance for escape, but the master will not free them so easily. Written, produced, directed, starring Hal Warren. It's less surprising that this is Hal Warren's only picture and more astounding that he was able to make it at all. Y'all, this is on the back of the VHS box.
Yeah,
that's a hint.
That's a hint and a half for your ass right there.
Manos exists in a genre all on its own, somehow combining the gravity of silent horrors with the absurdity of a stag film. That's fantastic. That's a good description.
Lord.
Put that on my gravestone. Widely regarded as one of the most inept movies ever made, Manos, The Hands of Fate is a thoroughly puzzling story loaded with surreal characterizations and a gratuitous surprise ending. And the pictures they have on the back of the box, the stills from the movie, make it look way better than it actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's shocking. A cult of weird, horrible people who gather beautiful women only to deface them with a burning hand. Manos, the Hand of Fate. Yipes. So, with that out of the way, once again, our rating system is a inverse emoji shit rating system. 1 being the best. You keep in your queue, you'll watch it over and over, and you'll enjoy it and bring friends to it and love it. They get worse as you go down from there to 5.
Yeah.
5 is the worst of the worst. Fica de la Matter, the shit that you're going to watch once because you're curious.
Yeah.
And then you're never going to touch it again.
Nope.
No.
You got to stick your head in one of those wood chippers.
Right. It's like that fat chick in high school. You touch her once and you never touch her again because you're ashamed. So, with that, what do you say we get on to the review? He's gonna love it, folks.
We should be pretty close right now. The agent said it was about 12 miles from Highway 10, and that was Highway 10 back there.
But we should have asked for better directions at the last gas station.
Listen, I've never gotten us lost before.
I am Torgo. I take care of the place while the master is away. The master wants you, but he can't have you. I want you. Thou who bestowest the mother darkness upon thy faithful, to live eternally in her keeping. Thou dost make him most blessed forever.
Alright, so we just watched the movie.
Well, I watched most of it.
You watched it's 69 minutes long. You watched about 60 minutes of it.
About 60 minutes.
Yeah,
yep. I caught about a 10-minute cat nap.
Yeah, you were... this movie wasn't hard to follow, but it didn't do anything. It didn't go anywhere.
This is literally probably the most boring, nonsensical. I mean, I've seen some real crap in my days. This one was almost as bad as Zozo to me.
Almost as bad, yeah. So the movie starts off with great scenic shots of El Paso. I mean, you get to see downtown. You get to see Trans Mountain Pass, which is the road that cuts through the end of the Rockies, where the Rockies end in El Paso. And it's really great. It's 60s, shots of El Paso, which were just before my time. But like when I lived there, it hadn't changed that much.
Yep.
But it's gorgeous. And then you see a bunch of gorgeous cars, all 60s. We're introduced to the protagonists, the family, the Michael, the wife, and the little girl and the dog, who stop at one of the little entrances, and like little. There's stops along Trans Mountain Pass where you can go, you can pull in,
like those scenic overlook places.
Thank you. That's what it's called, scenic overlook. Yes, and so they stop. And they're having a conversation. The little girl's cold. Something. They want to find a place to stop because they're getting tired. And so
it's first of all, it's El Paso.
Yeah, and
it's during the what looks to be the summer. It ain't fucking cold.
Well, El Paso doesn't have anything but like their winter looks like their summer. So
same shit.
It can get cold, but it doesn't get cold until nighttime. This is during the day.
Factual inaccuracy.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
So then we're greeted to like 5 minutes of them driving through El Paso. They get pulled over by a cop for having a taillight out. The cop lets them go because they're white and they're not minorities, so he lets them go without a warning. And so then they're driving more. This is like a fucking driving simulator. And you even made a point that it
looks like a high school driver's ed video.
Yeah, because
you're watching from the dash,
the POV view.
Yeah,
you see the steering wheel and the dashboard, and it looked like the old train.
And you
simulators.
keep waiting to hear the voice.
Yeah.
When you approach the intersection, be sure to check both ways.
Right, and so oh my god, and so then they pass by this couple who is making out. They pass by. And the couple stops making out, and the bitch is like, "Where are they going?" And then the man, in his worst acting, is like, "I don't know. Everybody knows that road doesn't go anywhere.
Ain't nothing down there."
And then he hands her a bottle to drink because he's getting her drunk so he can make out with her.
Yep.
And then they make out some more. So then we cut to.
Forget the cop. Can't forget the cop. The cop is key here. He shows up. Coming in there, cop blocking.
Yeah, he shows up after the family passes by. The cop shows up and tells them, "Stop making out, go away."
How many times I gotta tell you, damn kids, get on out here?
So they take off, and then we cut again to the family driving, and they looking for a place to stay. They drive out in the middle of fucking nowhere, and in El Paso, there's a lot of desert, especially in the '60s when it wasn't as built out. There's a lot of fucking desert. But it's easy to find downtown, and because only one freeway passes through El Paso. It's I-10.
That's right. Yep.
It's not hard to get lost.
No, it is not.
It's not hard to find downtown. It's not hard to find a hotel off I-10 anywhere.
Nope.
But these motherfuckers somehow end up in the middle of the desert. And whenever you see a sign for a place called Valley Lodge and it's in the middle of the desert, it's quality.
And it's handwritten. The sign is hand fucking written.
So they show up and they are greeted at the door by the infamous Torgo. Who has these giant thighs that look like he does squats all day long.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. He walks bow-legged.
Yeah, he walks bow-legged.
And he's obviously impaired in several ways.
But he acts like he's super drunk though.
Drunk and almost like arthritic.
Yeah,
I mean it's real weird because the way the guy moves, but it's. Ugh.
It looks like his legs have been beaten so badly and they haven't healed because the master beat it so badly, and his legs never healed properly. That's what it looks like.
Now, when he says master, he means it. There is a quote unquote character in this movie
who is the master.
That is called the master.
So he says that he's a caretaker of this lodge while the master is asleep. And okay, for the next like 10 minutes, there is just this weird, constant back and forth shots between the family, who are just standing there not doing anything, and Torgo, who's standing there not doing anything.
And we forget during the first part of this first part of this movie was the cheesiest porn music.
Oh, throughout the entire fucking movie is porn music. I mean, this dude pulled out every single free 1960 music clip that he could find and stuck it in this movie.
Yep, and then you get this Torgo fuck, and he looks like the Wolfman's like halfway through changing.
He looks like the Wolfman's
He's gnarled, and he's got
retarded brother.
He's got four eyebrows. He's got his eyebrows are like big V's. And
they go up and then they go to the side. I
think what they did is they tried to do his makeup and they fucked it up.
They didn't try very hard either.
No, they didn't do too good.
And that's another thing too. The music. This is supposed to be a horror film. The music, the entire fucking movie,
is cheery.
Is way too chipper.
Yeah,
way too chipper.
And like I said, it's almost like dry red music.
Yeah,
that's why when they were driving and you hear dee 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 dee, you hear all this shit, and you're like, what the hell?
And so the next 10 minutes after that is Torgo bringing the luggage inside the lodge. Them talking about,
it's like you said. They kept changing their mind. They're like, okay, let's get the fuck out of here. Torgo, put the luggage back in the car. So he takes the shit back out.
Yeah.
Wait, Torgo, never mind. We're going to stay because the car won't start. Let me bring it back in. And they ain't tipped this motherfucker.
No.
Not near $1.
Not $1.
And he done hauled their shit in and out like 4 or 5 times.
I mean, thankfully he's retarded, so he doesn't know to get tipped. But so while they're inside the fucking lodge, they see this picture of the master. It looks like it was drawn by like a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
It was painted by a 12-year-old. A terrible, terrible picture of the master. And they keep staring at it, and they're freaked out by it, which it's not scary at all. It just looks bad. But they keep cutting back to shots of the little girl on the couch with her dog, but they don't fucking do anything.
Nothing.
They don't. She doesn't talk. The dog doesn't do anything.
And
this
couch is a filthy, look like a dumpster couch. I mean, it looked like something you get off the curb that's been out in the weather for a few days. I mean, it's nasty. It's moldy looking. And this kid just laid out on it.
Well, kids are stupid. They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Well, I mean, but still, even for props, I mean, goddamn.
And so, while they're okay, so they get there when it's daytime. They get there when it's daytime.
I always love it. You have to draw that breath, and it's like, yeah.
And then at some point, they're inside this one room in the lodge, so goddamn long that it becomes night.
Yes.
Then they hear these wolves or coyotes howling in the distance. The bitch gets scared.
It's a guy.
Yeah, it's a guy.
It's some dude going, and he's making these god awful noises.
The bitch gets scared and she wants to leave. So the guy goes out to get the car ready. He orders Torgo to put the luggage back in the car. But while he's doing that, he goes out to start the car. The car won't start. He looks in the engine, nothing, can't see what's wrong with it. Goes back in, says, Torgo, never mind, bring the luggage back in. And Torgo's like, you motherfucker. And and he tells the wife that they can't leave tonight. They'll leave in the morning because the car is not starting. Well, during that time, while he's out there trying to fix the car, Torgo's assaulting the wife.
Yes.
He tells her that the master wants her for him because he collects beautiful women, and then he does this really awkward 5-minute long reach out to touch her shoulder
and her hair and shit. And you got a pretty mouth.
Yeah, and
that kind of thing.
Just straight up assaults her. She freaks out, calls for the husband. The husband like, bitch, I'm working on the car. Shut the fuck up.
But she has oh my God. This woman's acting, or severe lack thereof, is literally painful to watch.
Everybody in this movie. Everybody in this movie.
I mean, it's just
acts terrible except for Torgo because I think he was actually drunk.
And I think the dog.
And the dog, because dogs are always great actors. But here's another thing. The sound editing on this movie was so horrible all the way through.
I don't even think they did it, brother.
The entire movie was done ADR. It was done post. All the audio was done post. There's not a single on-set audio that they keep. But they didn't even bother to do any sort of lining up of syncing.
No.
When they put the ADR track over the video track. And so half of their fucking lines don't match up with their mouth.
Nope.
And then there's other parts where you see him say something, but there's no words because they didn't keep that part, or they didn't.
It's like watching a damn Godzilla movie in original cut.
Yeah,
you know,
and it's so horrible. The entire fucking movie, it like distracts you from watching the movie because you just know that each time they say something, it's going to sound like it's coming from a whole different part of
this movie. Straight up, is the biggest pile of not giving a fuck that I've ever seen.
Yeah,
nobody involved in this picture gave rat fucking ass about producing any kind of quality product.
It is, of all the movies that we've watched so far, it is the laziest attempt to make. I mean, they did bare minimum.
Yep.
When making this movie, bare minimum.
Exactly, and no effort. It's actually kind of annoying.
Yeah,
this movie, you're trying to watch it. Even I don't even know if booze could save this one, brother.
So then at some point the dog goes missing.
Yeah.
The husband finds it.
Runs out past the husband because he goes out to listen for the howling, whatever the howling shit is out there.
Right.
The little dog hauls ass, and the cardinal sin is once again committed.
It's killed off screen. You don't hear it get killed. All you do is you see the body. That's it. So it's not as bad as actually seeing who did it or whatever.
And you don't hear a yelp, nothing.
No.
He just goes and finds this black carpet rolled up on the ground. It doesn't even look like the dog.
So he takes it and he buries it, and then the little girl doesn't seem upset at all. But at that point, what happens at that point? Let's see. After the dog dies. Okay, so after the dog dies, they decide that they can't leave anywhere, and so they decide just to try and get some sleep for the night. And while they're doing that, Torgo goes back into the master's chambers, and you see this Mr. Bean, Freddie Mercury looking motherfucker in this black and red robe. He's laying on the stone slab.
Yeah, I compared him to Guido Sarducci from the old Saturday Night Live.
Right.
At first, until he's set up.
And then he's surrounded by these women that are standing up against these pillars that are slaves, that they're completely asleep.
Bunch of women on the pole.
Yeah, so Torgo goes in there, he walks around, says a bunch of shit, makes his own little monologue, whatever, some bullshit. And then we're cutting to the wife who's getting undressed, and while she's getting undressed to go to sleep, you see Torgo come into the window and looking like a fucking creeper. I mean, we got a peeping Torgo over here looking like a straight creeper.
Yeah.
And so she freaks the fuck out, and then while that's happening, the husband leaves to go look for something. I forget what he goes look for. He's leaving to go somewhere. But while he's out, Torgo sneaks up behind him, smacks the shit out of his club.
The fuck out of him, yep.
Knocks him out, ties him to this pole with his own belt.
Yep.
And then, at that point, the master wakes up because it's nighttime.
Yep.
The master wakes up. He wakes up. He goes and gets his dog, which is a Doberman Pinscher. Then comes back, sits down on his throne with the Pinscher next to him for like 10 minutes, just staring at the fuck. It's like
he's sitting there.
That's me in the morning when I'm waking up. I'm trying to wake up. I'm like,
yeah.
I get up out of bed and I sit up and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sit there for like 5 minutes.
Staring at the damn wall till your brain starts to work.
Until you fucking wake the fuck up for real.
And then it jumps back to our stupid couple from the beginning of the movie.
Who are still making out. It's dark now. It's
still got the same bottle of booze.
Still fucking making out. They haven't fucked yet.
And they're middle of nowhere in the dark. And who shows up?
The sheriff.
The fucking sheriff shows up
catches them again.
That cop blocking motherfucker.
And he shows up, tells them, "Look, fuckers, get the fuck out of here." And while he's telling them to get out, they're drunk, of course, because they're drinking this grandpa's booze.
And this stupid side story has no point in this movie. It's just like this. It's like a whole second little miniature story of its own.
This whole side story is only there so that they can tell the cop, go harass the other couple that passed by him, which is the couple.
Yeah.
So the cops can go and try to find them.
Go get them fuckers that drove down there.
Yeah, and so they take the fuck off again, and then we cut back to Torgo, and he's making this grand speech. This is where we get a wonderful, wonderful shot of him. He's in front of this little fire, and he's talking to his women, and he raises his arms up off to his side, and you see the full glory of his robe. You see the glory of his robe. It's all black robe, but there's these red marks on the front of it in the shape of two giant fucking hands.
Two hands.
It is the most glorious. Like, if
If the movie has any redeeming quality whatsoever, it's his fucking robe.
I'm surprised Freddie Mercury did not actually have this outfit in his closet, because this is a pure rock star pimp robe.
Obsessed with UFOs and extraterrestrials?
Convinced there's a chupacabra in your backyard?
Is your doppelganger ruining your life?
Do you love all things haunting related?
If you answered yes to any,
or none of these,
then these are the mostly sensical, slightly drunken ramblings for you? Question mark? I'm Emily.
And I'm Joel, and we're the hosts of Drink Drunk Dead. Join us,
our two cats, Emma and Otto, and our house ghost,
every week as we have a few drinks, discuss all things paranormal,
and raise a toast to our ghosts.
So then this is the funniest part of the movie. He wakes up all his bitches. All right? He wakes them all up. He's like, arise, wake up. Hard cut. Next scene, they're all sitting around the fucking fire
already,
yakking their fucking face off, just nonstop talking. And you see him, and he's sitting on his little rock, his little stone that he woke up from, and he's looking at him. He's like, why the fuck did I wake these bitches up?
Exactly, because
all they're doing is yakking.
And he just yells, basically tells them all to shut the fuck up.
Bitches, shut up. But they're all talking about they have to sacrifice the husband, can't kill the kid, keep the woman, because the woman needs to become part of their cult. And they're arguing amongst themselves. Some people want to kill everybody. Some people want to kill none of them. Then one bitch is like the woman, yes, we need the woman, not the man. We won't kill the kid. We don't even need the woman. It's like, you just said you needed her, but then you say you don't need her. Make up your fucking mind.
Jeez.
Like, they don't even know what the fuck they want to do.
No, they don't.
So then we have fucking 25 minutes of these bitches fighting in the middle of the desert.
It's like, and it's nonsensical. I mean, they just go at it,
rolling in the dirt,
in the fucking and they slapping each other, and they'll knock somebody down, and then they'll lay there for like 10 seconds, completely motionless. Then all of a sudden they jump up, and then they go slap the other bitch, and she lays down. It is the worst choreographed bullshit.
Yeah. It's not even choreographed. It's like the director said, just fight as you would normally fight.
Just do whatever. Just go out there and make something up.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what it looks like. And so, but they also mentioned that the women mentioned that Torgo was the responsible for bringing these people to the house. And so while they're fighting, Master goes and finds Torgo, because he says he wants to kill him, puts him into a trance. Dude falls asleep, falls on the floor, but he doesn't kill him.
No.
So then we cut back to the wife.
At this point, like I said, we are
47 minutes in,
and there has not
no
been
death,
except for the pup. Got to kill.
Right.
Yeah, got a dog at the beginning. That's it.
Yeah. So then we cut to the wife. The wife is asleep on the bed with the kid. The husband's been gone like 25 fucking minutes
at least.
In movie time, it's probably been like 4 hours in real time. And she does not fucking care.
Doesn't care.
She is dead asleep.
Cold, don't give a flying fuck.
But then she wakes up because she hears something going on, and she freaks the fuck out because the husband's not there, and grabs the kid and proceeds to cry and wish for the kid to show up. Meanwhile, the husband still knocked the fuck out, ties that fucking pole.
That's it. Yep.
And so then Manos shows up, or not Manos, the master shows up, and he breaks up the fight, and he tells them to stop fighting. And at some point, before they break up the fighting, though, one of the bitches takes off and finds the dude tied up and begins to make out with him, sexually assault him while he's asleep, while he's passed out.
That's right.
She's straight up kissing on him, and he's passed the fuck out. Then she gets so mad because he doesn't wake up, she proceeds to slap him like 10 times, and the fucker doesn't wake up still. And
then that was the point where we had to back this up a couple times because we had to confirm it. During the hard cut to a different angle, there was somebody walking out of the shot.
Yeah,
from the crew
got caught.
I guess the guy with the speed.
They got caught, and we had to pass it like 3 times to make sure we saw what we saw because we weren't sure it was like that or like an artifact.
Somebody walking off the fucking scene.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
So then Cut back to the master. He's breaking up the fight with the bitches, and then they pick out this blonde with big hair as the culprit, the instigator of it all. So he ties her up to one of the poles to kill her, and just proceeds to slap the shit out of her.
I mean, for like what, 20 minutes?
Yeah,
just
like, straight pimp hand
pap,
slap him,
pap,
and then proceeds
pap.
to have Torgo killed because he brought this on them. So Torgo's gone, and then finally Michael, the husband, wakes up, easily breaks free of his bonds, easily.
Yeah, just I'm free.
Gets back to the house, grabs the kids, grabs the family and the wife, gets them and gets ready to leave out. But before they can leave, the master shows up. And he shows up with the dog, and they're standing right there. Michael goes to shoot, and he shoots him 3 or 4 times, or he fires at him 3 or 4 times, but you don't see him actually hit the master because the angle's the camera's pointing at the husband. But then the last shot, there's a fade out, and we are on a whole new day in El Paso with a new car that pulls up, and these 2 old bitches. And they're giving some exposition about how they're super excited for the weekend. All the friends are coming down. It's going to be a party. Can't wait. So then they proceed, for some reason, to drive 25 minutes out of town in the middle of fucking desert again. And who do they pass on the way into town the next day?
Them 2 motherfuckers out there still.
Motherfuckers. This dude and this girl have been out in this desert. He's in a little MG convertible car.
Yep.
Top is down. Okay, they have been out in that car, making out all night. They have not fucked. How do you make out with someone for 12, 16 hours and just not have sex? Especially when you've been plying it with alcohol.
No idea.
She's ready to fuck.
It's not in the budget. Not in the budget.
Not in the budget. It's free to fuck. So then the 2 old biddies show up at the house, and who's there to greet them instead of Torgo, but Michael. And
he's talking like Torgo was talking.
Very robotic. And
I'm taking care of the house when the master is asleep or a master's away and blah, blah, blah. And then it fades out.
No, actually, it doesn't do that. So it shows Michael as the new caretaker, but then it cuts to the master's chamber, and you see the wife is now one of the...
Oh, that's right.
One of the girls on the columns. And
so is
the little
the daughter.
Girl. The daughter has become one of the slaves of the master.
Yep.
And then... it cuts out, and that's it. In the movie, Manos, the Hands of Fate.
No fucking death.
No death.
None.
Just a dog. Just a dog. And Torgo off screen. You don't even see him die on screen. He's gone.
Nah, and it's true. I literally lost about 9-10 minutes of this movie.
So that's the end of the movie. So James, let's hear your thoughts.
I have none.
You have no thoughts.
That's the problem.
No thoughts.
That is a problem. I literally was sitting there trying to take notes for this thing, and I couldn't. I just, there was nothing.
No notes.
I could make notes because there was nothing really worth. What I guess you say is nothing noteworthy. The acting. I mean, I've said it before. Oh, the acting didn't exist. Literally, this was the most impromptu sounding garbage I've seen so far, I think.
Yeah.
The story, the story itself.
Yeah.
If they would have done it right, at best.
Okay.
Script,
is it
god awful.
Uh-huh.
The effects, there were none.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this one's trash. I'm literally going to give this for non-horror value. I'm going to the gold 6 turds.
Going to 6.
I cannot recommend this particular movie to anybody.
All right.
It literally sucks that bad to me.
6 turds. All right. Nice.
I mean, brutal.
Bad.
That's just brutal movie. Fuck this thing.
Yeah, the script was terrible. The story was non-existent. The acting was bad. The sound editing was absolutely horrible. But you know what? Comparing this to like our last week's episode of Night of the Ghouls, which had the same sort of issues.
Yeah.
But that was infuriating and frustrating with follow. This actually got us to laugh quite a few times at some of the more ridiculous parts.
Well, that's true.
The parts that made no sense and the parts where they tried and they just failed completely and utterly.
Yeah.
And it made us chuckle. And so for that, just for that alone, and for the fact that it's It was made for $19,000. It was filmed and financed in El Paso, and it shows. And that the director, who was a fertilizer salesman or whatever, decided to make a movie. He had no
fertilizer, aka shit.
He had no he had no idea how to do a movie at all. But he wanted to make a movie. He had a passion to make a movie, and he made it. And it's now in the landfill with the rest of his fertilizer, helping trees grow. I'm gonna give it a 4.
I'm gonna give it a
4 because it made us chuckle. Again, compared to like last week was so bad it was just painful. This week's is so bad, but it has some funny, unintentionally funny moments.
Yeah.
I'd watched it a few times. Definitely make fun of it with friends. And if nothing else, because of fucking the Master's awesome robe. I mean, every time he spread his arms like 6 times.
That is true. You know, the robe is good. So what I might do is I might scale back to a 5.
To a 5?
To a 5 because of the fact that, people got to see the robe.
The robe is awesome. I mean,
they got to see the robe. That's true.
Every time he spread his arms,
I will retract my previous rating, and I will upgrade it to a 5 turd.
Okay.
Still sucks.
Yeah.
Royally.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of things in there worth watching. But the mind-numbing dialogue alone killed it for me. This just absolutely it was.
Every time he spread his robes, he looked like the evil version of the Allstate logo. And it was fucking awesome. It was great. I love it. I want to get a robe and wear it every time we do a review now because that robe was awesome.
We get a robe.
Yeah. All right, James. Well, why don't you tell them where they can find us if they still want to listen?
Oh, I think we'll hang on to a few people. You can find us on the fourthhand.com website and network. There are lots of good shows on there, lots of good people, so go on there and check us out. Our other project is on there as well, State of Fear. If you want to go listen to those, you can go there. We are also on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, CastBox, you name it, we're on it. We're also on YouTube now.
Yes, the two of you. We are there.
And you can, of course, find us on Facebook. And we are under What the Suck Podcast, of course. Yep. And on Instagram. Under What _ Suck _ Podcast.
If you guys are listening and you want, send us any requests for movies to watch. We've had a few. We've watched a few based on recommendations. So send us more. We want to watch the movies you think are bad.
Yeah, comment, share, let us know what you think. Let us know what we can do better. Let us know what we're doing good.
That's right. Let us know where we suck ass, and we'll tell you to fuck off. But let us know anyway. So.
Yeah, pretty much.
So until next time, this is Chris, and I will see y'all at the next shitfest.
And this is James, and if it ain't on What the Suck, it ain't shit.
You've been listening to a Fourth Hand Joint.